Hello, this is David D. Hilster. I am a critical thinker, dissident scientist, and I'm here to tell you the truth about science, something your university professors won't tell you, the mass media won't tell you, and of course those science evangelists won't tell you. Did you know that the advancing of science is messy? That is, it never happens in a nice way. We think, when I asked the average person on the street, I said, look, we have some really good evidence that Einstein's wrong, both special relativity and general relativity. You know what they say to me? Oh, that's okay. The people in the universities, when they see this data that's not right, they're going to go back to the drawing boards and they're going to get together and they're going to find out what the problem is and go forward. That's what they think. But that's not what happens. It's a club. You can't go against it. If you see something that doesn't fit, you ignore it or you pretend to kill it. And that's not the way you advance science. Science has always advanced from the outside. It's always been that way. Paradigm shifts from the thousands of years ago. You have the entire generation dying off defending the flat earth, in this case defending particle physics, defending relativity, the Big Bang, plate tectonics, all those things, defending them. And the people who know the future and are working on the future just say, okay, relegate yourselves to obscurity. So I've already talked about this, is nothing new, but I'm going to talk to you about something today much more interesting, and sometimes the dissident scientists or critical thinkers, even at our conferences, will talk to me about this, what they call problem. And that problem is, well, so-and-so's work isn't up to snuff, isn't to scientific enough. Their presentation isn't professional enough. Their slides, they didn't even have slides. When you come to our conference, the John Chappell Natural Philosophy Society, you're going to see a lot of different opinions and a lot of different vocations. As we say, I sort of made this up myself from my movie. I use it for our group as well. Don't listen to me, listen to what I say. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your title is. I'm going to listen to what you're saying and look at what you're presenting and judge it on myself. That's what a critical thinker should do. But even amongst the critical thinkers, there becomes a problem where some people think their work is more worthy than other work. And one of the ways I try to describe this in this scientific democracy is the moment you start, how do you say, filtering and filtering and filtering more, is the moment you start becoming much like the mainstream. Yes, you're not going to accept everything. We're not going to accept papers on baseball for a physics and cosmology conference. If a person writes something that's a conspiracy, we don't include it. We look at the science. If the science has to be involved with the conspiracy and can be completely separated from the conspiracy, great. But we are just like any other science organization. The only difference is we allow multiple models for the same phenomenon. We have many models for gravity. We have many models for what mechanism makes the Earth expand and gain mass. We have many models for light. We have many models for atomic structure. That's the way it should work. That's the way everything else works. Everything else works that way. We have how many computer languages? Well, why don't we have one? Well, the reason is because there is no real answer to that. Well, maybe it's the case with physics, but we have a real big problem when it comes to physics and cosmology. We believe we are finding God's equations, even though most people who are scientists, who are modern thinkers, consider themselves non-religious, and religion has nothing to do with it. They themselves are perpetuating what looks like a religion too. The truth of the matter is that they think that the universe has certain laws and that every intelligent civilization out there will encounter them. They think that everybody will find relativity. That one they won't find, because that is wrong. It is wrong and rotten from the core. But that's what they think. So that kind of attitude kills any idea that we can look at alternatives. And in fact, that we could actually have equations and models, different ones for the same phenomenon, and they could live side by side. I did a talk on consensus a number of years ago, talking about this exact problem. Problem. And that is, science will not allow what all other areas of endeavor allow, which are multiple ideas, multiple solutions. So we have different ways. Cars are you've got gasoline, you've got hybrids, you've got electricity, electrical cars, you have hydrogen cars. Oh, well, God didn't make one of those. Which one's the universe approved car? Same thing. If somebody has a model, we cobble together models. The universe doesn't use math. Sort of like, oh, my book. Oh, wait, it's over here. Oh, I got it over here. Working on it here, you can see. A no math physical model of the entire universe. Oh, some people are doing it. Editing it. Oh, you can see it's got marks all over it. But because math is invented by man, it's a system, everybody's going to say, oh, no, math is the same everywhere. No, if there are other civilizations, other intelligent beings, they may have a very different math system. And the real numbers that we use, I've told about that, are not necessarily the only way to do math. There's lots of different ways. But getting back to the point is that the advancement of science today and in our group is messy. It's going to be messy. We may have one model that's going to be better than the other ones. We have ether models. We have our particle model, my father and I. There are other models. There are lattice models. Models that say the universe is a lattice. You know, if you can explain everything with it, who's to say it's wrong? Especially when we have particle physics with no physicality whatsoever. You've seen it. This is a proton, and then you have these are quarks. They're circles with letters in them. Go to the guy in the street and say, "Hey, this is a quark. This is what we think a quark looks like." You think he's going to be happy? Nope. So, what does this all mean? This means we have to change our entire perception of the way the advancement of science should work. We should change our entire educational system. I'm going to talk about that in a different video. But the scientific progress is messy. When you don't have a clear winning model out there, that's the next best one, because that's all we have is a best one, we are not going to be in a stable, wonderful state. And mainstream physics lies to us to say that when we have Mr. Tyson deGrasse, no, Neil deGrasse Tyson, complicated name, okay, when we have him saying that Newton was right, and then he was wrong, and then Einstein fixed that, and then Einstein's right except for these points in the black hole. No, we can throw it out. He is wrong. He just laughs at you if you don't accept that. Critical thinker? No. Dogma pusher? Religious fanatical? Yes. So, again, I hope you get the idea. It's messy. I'm going to talk about that more. I'm going to be getting more on the dissident side of things. We have different models competing. But the good thing is we get together and we talk about them. Just like we should be getting together and talk about when we have different races and religions and politics, we should all be getting together and sitting down and discussing and listening and debating these things. Not laughing at us. deGrasse laughs at everybody who thinks Einstein's wrong. Well, The last laugh is on you because you're not a critical thinker, Degrassi. Your head's gotten so enormous, your ego's so great that you've got t-shirts with literally with halos around your head. Wow. Science, and you've got t-shirts talking about religion and science, and you are now one of the biggest religious leaders in science today. You are one of the biggest science evangelists out there. I can go on. I know it's already 10 minutes. I better let this go because, hey, you're in your lunch hour, or you're in the car, or you're working on this. Thank you so much, subscribers. We're getting close to 100. As soon as we get over 100 and over 5,000 views, I've got a present for all of you. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. Because what I always say, don't take whatever you say, what anyone's on their word. Don't believe what they say and only on their word. I got that all wrong. Don't take anything. I can't remember it. All I remember is don't take what people say for granted. Stay thinking. Stay critical. Stay thinking. I'm Dave D. Hilster, forgetting my entire out. Oh well, 57. What can you say? Ciao for now.